We often see beautiful models pop up in movies for quick cameos. The most famous example may be Christie Brinkley's unforgettable appearance in National Lampoon's Vacation. But what about the supermodels who tried to become actual movie stars and never quite made it? Here are 5 gorgeous supermodels who got their shot in Hollywood, but never came close to matching the success they enjoyed in the modeling world. There may be no better example than our first supermodel, Cindy Crawford. She was one of the defining supermodels of the late 80s and 90s, a global celebrity who appeared on countless magazine covers, hosted MTV's House of Style, and became part of pop culture through commercials like her famous Pepsi ad. She had the kind of fame that made a Hollywood acting career seem almost inevitable. But instead of easing Cindy into movies with a small supporting role, Hollywood threw her directly into the deep end. In 1995, she was cast as the female lead opposite William Baldwin in the action thriller Fair Game. Cindy played a Miami attorney targeted by former KGB operatives, forcing her to go on the run with Baldwin's police detective. The movie was produced by action film heavyweight Joel Silver, whose credits included Die Hard, Predator, and Lethal Weapon. This was clearly intended to be a major star-making vehicle. But Cindy had almost no acting experience, and the movie asked her to carry romance, suspense, emotional scenes, and major action sequences all at once. The results were not good. Critics attacked the film, and Cindy's performance became an easy target. She received Razzie nominations for Worst Actress and Worst New Star, and Fair Game quickly developed a reputation as one of the more notorious action flops of the decade. But Cindy later offered some important context. She said she had initially resisted the role because she did not consider herself an actress, and once production began, she claimed she received very little help from the director. As Cindy later put it, "Here I am, I'm not an actress, and literally I would get zero direction." That doesn't excuse everything that went wrong, but the producers obviously took a huge risk here that didn't pay off. Cindy later appeared in the smaller film The Simeon Line, but the damage had already been done. Fair Game effectively ended any serious attempt to turn her into a movie star. Next, we have Paulina Porizkova, who was another defining face of the 1980s. She became internationally famous through fashion campaigns and magazine covers, including back-to-back appearances on the cover of the Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue in 1984 and 1985. She had a more mysterious and European image than Cindy Crawford, along with a personality that was intelligent, candid, and sometimes sharply funny. That made her an irresistible choice for Hollywood. Her biggest opportunity arrived in 1989, when she starred opposite Tom Selleck in the romantic mystery comedy Her Alibi. Selleck played a crime novelist who becomes fascinated by Paulina's character, Nina, a Romanian woman accused of murder. He gives her a false alibi, brings her into his home, and then spends the rest of the film wondering whether she is innocent or whether she might actually kill him. On paper, the role made sense. Paulina had the beauty and exotic presence needed to make Selleck's instant fascination believable. She also handled physical comedy, acrobatics, and the mysterious quality the story required. But the movie itself was a mess. It couldn't decide whether it wanted to be a romance, a murder mystery, or a slapstick comedy. Paulina also had surprisingly little dialogue for much of the film, which meant the movie often treated her more like a beautiful mystery than a fully developed character. Roger Ebert gave the film half a star and called it endless, pointless, and ridiculous. Paulina received a Razzie nomination for Worst Actress, and when Her Alibi failed, she never received another mainstream opportunity on that scale. She continued to act in smaller films and television roles, and she later wrote and directed the film Roommates. So this was not a complete disappearance from acting. But Hollywood had taken one of the world's most recognizable models, paired her with an established leading man, and still failed to give her a role that showed much beyond her exotic beauty. That may have been enough to sell a poster, but it wasn't enough to launch a lasting acting career. Our third supermodel is Kathy Ireland, who was one of the most successful swimsuit models of her generation. She appeared in 13 consecutive Sports Illustrated swimsuit issues and landed 3 covers, including the hugely popular Anniversary edition in 1989. Kathy had a more approachable and wholesome image than many of the era's high-fashion models, which made her seem like a natural fit for mainstream movies. Her first major starring role came in Alien from L.A., the 1988 science fiction adventure movie. Kathy played Wanda, a shy and awkward young woman who travels beneath the surface of the earth while searching for her missing father. The director reportedly cast Kathy after seeing her photograph, without even giving her a screen test. That wasn't smart. Kathy later admitted, "No one was more surprised than I was." To her credit, she immediately began taking acting lessons. The movie also tried to play against her glamorous image. Instead of portraying a confident bombshell, Kathy played Wanda as clumsy, insecure, and socially uncomfortable. And Kathy committed to it. She wore glasses, used awkward body language, and adopted a famously high-pitched voice for the character. Unfortunately, that voice became one of the most mocked elements of the film. The film was poorly received and eventually became famous as a cult bad movie, particularly after it appeared on Mystery Science Theater 3000. Kathy continued acting in some supporting roles, where her natural likability could come through without requiring her to carry an entire movie. But she never became a serious Hollywood star. Of course, Kathy hardly needed Hollywood. She went on to build a hugely successful licensing and business empire, becoming far more successful as an entrepreneur than she ever could have imagined as an actress. So while Hollywood may not have worked out, she clearly had the last laugh. Elle Macpherson is probably the most complicated name on this list because she actually enjoyed a fairly respectable acting run. Elle was one of the biggest supermodels in the world during the 80s and 90s. Known as The Body, she appeared on a record 5 Sports Illustrated swimsuit covers and became one of the most recognizable women of the supermodel era. Her movie career began with the 1994 Australian film Sirens, where she played one of several uninhibited models living with artist Norman Lindsay. The role made obvious use of Elle's beauty, but she also seemed comfortable in the film's playful and sensual atmosphere. And the film created quite a buzz with Elle's full-frontal nude scenes. From there, she appeared in a surprising number of major productions, like The Edge and a Batman movie. She also joined Friends for several episodes as Joey's roommate and eventual girlfriend. So unlike Cindy Crawford or Paulina Porizkova, Elle was not defined by one disastrous leading role. She generally worked as a supporting actress, and that approach probably helped her. She wasn't being asked to carry the entire film, and she could play characters who fit her natural strengths, glamorous, confident, and socially self-assured women. But that was also the limitation. Most of Elle's roles depended heavily on her beauty. She was rarely given the kind of complicated or surprising character that might have changed the way people saw her. Still, of everyone on this list, she probably came closest to establishing a real second career. She may never have become a major movie star, but she proved she could function comfortably as a supporting actress in legitimate Hollywood productions. Finally, we have Emily Ratajkowski, who represents the modern version of the supermodel to actress transition. Unlike the classic supermodels of the 80s and 90s, Emily became famous through a combination of modeling, music videos, social media, and celebrity culture. Her appearance in Robin Thicke's Blurred Lines video made her instantly recognizable, and she soon appeared in major magazines, fashion campaigns, and films. Her acting breakthrough came in 2014 with David Fincher's Gone Girl. Emily played Andy, the younger woman having an affair with Ben Affleck's character. It was a relatively small role, but it worked. Fincher understood exactly how to use her image. Her beauty made Nick Dunn's reckless attraction immediately believable, but the character also had enough importance to affect the entire story. Emily followed that with appearances in Entourage, I Feel Pretty, Welcome Home, and Lying and Stealing. Her biggest opportunity came opposite Zac Efron in We Are Your Friends, but the film was a major box office disappointment, and critics were mixed on her performance. Some saw potential. Others felt that she was still being used more as a visual presence than as a fully developed actress. And that has remained the central challenge of her acting career. Hollywood keeps casting Emily as the beautiful girlfriend, the mistress, or the woman every male character immediately notices. Those roles may seem obvious, but they also make it harder for her to prove that she can do something unexpected. Emily has said that she finds acting more personally fulfilling than modeling, and that she wants to play complicated women rather than decorative stereotypes. She is also still working, which makes her different from the others on this list. Her acting story may not be over. Let's see if she ever takes on a role that presents a real challenge, and that doesn't leverage her looks. Unfortunately, none of these amazing supermodels came close to matching their modeling success in Hollywood. But to be fair, that doesn't necessarily mean they lacked talent. In many cases, they were placed in difficult roles before they had much acting experience, and expected to carry movies largely because they were famous and beautiful. Their looks and fame opened doors for them, but beauty alone only gets you so far in Hollywood. Eventually, you need the right project that gives you a chance to show off real acting talent. You can't blame these models for trying, but it just didn't work out in the end.